to Tuskegee's success. And so we're going to talk with Coach Joseph Carter coming up in just a second. This is the HBCU Report being heard via Spreaker.com. We are powered by SportsNewsAndBrews.com, your source for sports, black news, political news, and the latest on your favorite craft beers. Log on to SportsNewsAndBrews.com. I'm Rob Calloway, and the HBCU Report will return after these words.
It's the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Connecting the SWAC, the MEAC, SIAC, and the CIAA. The HBCU experience lives here. It's the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
This is the HBCU Report being heard via Spreaker.com. We are powered by SportsNewsAndBrews.com. And coming up this weekend, we have one of the oldest rivalries in all of HBCU sports, really in all of collegiate sports. It's the most storied rivalry, talking about Tuskegee University and Florida A&M University. They call this one the Fifth Quarter Classic. It's the first annual going down at Ladd Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. FAMU currently leads the all-time series 27-15-2. But as I mentioned, these are the two winningest HBCU programs in America. And right now we're being joined on the line by longtime defensive coordinator Joseph Carter. First of all, Coach, this being your first time on the HBCU Report, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem, man. So let's just jump right into this thing. The Golden Tigers are coming off of back-to-back wins versus Clark Atlanta, and then last weekend's win over Albany State in the Whitewater Classic. With so many underclassmen, because you all have a lot of them, I think it's around 60 underclassmen. What were the expectations for Coach Slater and you guys coming into the season with so many young guys?
Well, the expectations are to get these young men in and get them transitioned over to playing college football, and that's just teaching basic fundamentals and understanding of the game.
Now, through two games, your quarterback, Kevin Lacey, has received all type of accolades. So far this season, he's 19 of 27 for 429 yards and 4 touchdowns. With such a young team, as I just mentioned, how important is his senior leadership to the overall success of this program?
Oh, it's extremely important. And he's been groomed for this position. You know, he started off as a redshirt guy, and then gradually as his classification increased, he's grown into that position as being a leader. You know, some people have to go through some things in order to get to some things, and we think that his progression is where it needs to be right now.
Absolutely. Now, we all know the defense wins ball games, and as the defensive coordinator for the Golden Tigers, what can you tell our listening audience about the Golden Tiger defense led by SIAC Defensive Player of the Year, Julian Morgan?
Well, what we try to do is we try to be as fundamentally sound as we can defensively, you know, with what we see on film. And we try to put young men out there in positions to make football plays. And we feel if we can put you in a position to make a football play, you can make a football play. And so we've got a bunch of highly motivated young men that wants to be great, you know. We played 2 games thus far, and we're not even close to being where we want to be. Every day is a work day for us.
Absolutely. Joseph Carter, defensive coordinator of the Tuskegee University Golden Tigers, joins us on the line. The Golden Tigers are in action this weekend in the Fifth Quarter Classic, Ladd Stadium, Mobile, Alabama, versus the Florida A&M Rattlers. The Rattlers lead the all-time series 27-15-2. Now, the two winningest the programs in the HBCU football history, as I mentioned, line up this weekend. Now, this is the first time that you two teams have seen each other since 1996, and the first time in Coach Slater's era that you've gone head-to-head with FAM. Now, as far as Florida A&M goes, they've undergone a lot of coaching changes over the past few years and find themselves 1-12 going back to last season. So, based on what you and the staff have seen out of the Rattlers on tape, what concerns you guys headed into this matchup?
Well, one of the most important things is they are a very talented group of young men. They are, and so wins and losses, I don't necessarily know because I don't coach down there. But when you look at them on film, they are a very talented group of young men, and they've been coached well. And it's going to be a big challenge for us this upcoming weekend, And so, but our kids are looking forward to it. Our kids are looking forward to the challenge, and we're just going to get out there and do what we do.
Now, we all know Tuskegee. I mean, as I told you before we got started with the interview, I actually, I went to Alabama State, and during the 90s, I went in the late 90s, the mid-late 90s. We never beat Tuskegee. That was before you guys got there, but we never beat Tuskegee. Tuskegee has been on the, for them to be Division II, for you guys to be a Division II program. You all have been known to knock off FCS competition, year in and year out. And a lot of people think of Tuskegee as a brainy institution, where the smart guys go, if you will, like the Duke of HBCUs or something like that. But you just be honest with me, in your opinion, what do you think the secret to Tuskegee's success has been? Because you guys have won a lot of games going back many years ago. So what is the secret? Is it that smart guys went out? I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out.
Well, that's what we want. We want guys that know how to play the game with their head, and if you can learn to play the game with your head, that makes the game a lot easier. And so, and we do have a bunch of young men that's engineering majors and business management majors and things like that, and got over 3.0 GPA. And they're really good football players, too. The tradition here at Tuskegee University is way before I got here. And we've just been blessed to have some guys that come in and understand the tradition and want to live up to the tradition.
Well, what I heard was that was that George Washington Carver left y'all like a special recipe down there, man, like peanut Gatorade, and it's the peanut Gatorade.
Now, what they give them in the cafeteria, I don't know.
No, I heard y'all got that on the sidelines, man.
Oh, really? I don't know about that one. Well, I need to talk with our athletic trainer there. See what you put in water.
No doubt about it. Very good. He is Joseph Carter, defensive coordinator of the Tuskegee University Golden Tigers. They are in action this weekend, the Fifth Quarter Classic versus Florida A&M, Ladd Stadium, Mobile, Alabama. Coach Carter, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, man. And good luck to you guys this weekend. I'm neutral in this thing. But I'm always down to see. I'm always down to see like a Division II HBCU knockoff of FCS. I'm always down with that. So good luck to you guys, and make sure you tell Coach Slater I ask about him. Okay.
All right. Thanks,
man.
Very much.
All right, great stuff right there from Coach Joseph Carter. Shouts out to Mobile, Alabama. Got my folks on deck down there in Mobile. Ladd Stadium is going to be a blast today as they get ready for the first annual Fifth Quarter Classic. Mobile is always a good place for a classic. I know when I was in school, we had that Gulf Coast Classic down there, and it would always be packed out. And so I expect nothing but the best today. And down in Mobile, Alabama, is Florida A&M and Tuskegee hookup. And what's really been a highly anticipated matchup. I mean, FAMU hasn't really had a lot of success as of late. Tuskegee has. But it's a great rivalry, and it's a great neutral territory to put it in right there in Mobile, even though Tuskegee is in Alabama. But when you put it down in South Alabama, it's up for grabs. It's anybody's game. So, again, big shouts out to Coach Willie Slater and Coach Joseph Carter, Tuskegee University. Wishing those guys nothing but the best. Told you we had a jam-packed one for you today. Didn't I tell you? Yeah, you thought I was lying, right? All right, so coming up. Last weekend, we almost had another major upset. I talked about it at the top of the show. Grambling State took a 21-3 halftime lead over Arizona. But the second half was a tale of two games. They ended up succumbing to Arizona's 31-21. But there were some reasons behind that. And so coming up on the other side, we are going to talk with the man that has rebirthed, that has given new life to Grambling State University, talking about third-year head coach Broderick Fobbs. He is a disciple of Coach Eddie Robinson, and I know Coach Rob is somewhere looking down, and he is very, very proud of the job that this young man is doing. Coach Broderick Fobbs is coming up next. This is the HBCU Report, being heard via Spreaker.com. We are powered by SportsNewsAndBrews.com, your source for sports, black news, political news, and the latest on your favorite craft beers. Log on to SportsNewsAndBrews.com right now, and Coach Broderick Fobbs of Grambling State University is coming up next, right here on the HBCU Report.
It's the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Connecting the SWAC, the MEAC, SIAC, and the CIAA. The HBCU experience lives here. It's the HBCU Report with Rob Calloway.
This is the HBCU Report, being heard via Spreaker.com. Rob Calloway here with you. Don't forget, we are powered by SportsNewsAndBrews.com. And coming up this weekend, we have a big-time SWAC matchup as Grambling State and Jackson State hook up in Jackson, Mississippi. And right now, we're being joined by a good friend of the show. He is the head football coach of the Grambling State University Tigers. In his third year as head coach there, Broderick Fobbs joins the show. First of all, Coach, welcome back to the HBCU Report.
How you doing, Rob? It's good to talk with you, man. It's an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to speak with you.
Oh, man, it's all good. So, as I just mentioned, you guys have a big-time matchup against Jackson State to open up SWAC play. Talk to us about the competitiveness of the SWAC during this 2016 season.
Well, I tell you, I think the competitiveness has definitely, the level has gone up. You know, with the coaches that have come into the league in the last 3 years, and the players that have come into this league, I tell you, it's very, very competitive. You got to come to play every week, and I tell you, every opponent really has great players. So it's an exciting time. It brings out the best in each and every one of us, and I'm looking forward to the challenge.
All right, so after 2 weeks, you guys find yourselves 1-1 headed into conference play. You opened the season with a blowout win over Virginia Lynchburg, followed by last week's heartbreaker, a 31-21 loss to Arizona. But before we get into what happened to change the course of that Arizona game last weekend, and not looking at the win-loss record, if you can do that, Coach, if you can, put blinders on and not look at the win-loss record, thus far, through 2 games, how would you grade your Grambling State Tigers?
Well, I tell you, I give us a C+, actually, because – it's not about the score. It's more important to us how we play. And anytime you have 11 turnovers in 2 weeks, that's not a good deal. I think we played really good defense in the last 2 weeks. We've done a really good job of tackling, but I think offensively, even though we've been able to score some points, I think it's around 45, 50 points, average-wise in the last 2 weeks, we've turned the ball over a great deal. And you have to protect the football if you plan on being successful, especially in league play. So we know that we have to do a better job of that. Our players have been told that. Our focus in practice is to make sure that we
do a better job of protecting it in practice, and we'll be there in the end.
Now, your quarterback,